As of recording this, it's the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, and naturally, this is my first video that's not going to be a hip-hop beat, but still I do incorporate some hip-hop elements later, but you have to stick around for that. I've been both requested on YouTube and in real life to do breakcore, so I decided I would, but first I had to do some research. I called up my autistic friend, I asked him for some music recommendations, listened to some Venetian snares and Square Pusher, and I already heard Aphex Twin. You know, I've been on the internet, so I know what it's like. I played Ultrakill, but now that I got a grip on it, I know how to make breakcore, so I'm going to teach you. I mean, I know the basics. First, it always starts out with the amen break. Everybody uses the amen break, including Praxi Plays, who still hasn't responded to my DMs. Now, there's two methods of chopping it up, but my method sucks if you have OCD. You're going to highlight 3 different sections: the kick, that's a snare, the drum fills, which is this, I think that's a drum fill, and then the kick. Once you get these 3 sections, you're gonna click and drag them onto your playlist right here, and you're gonna quantize them to grid, so you're able to place them whenever you want, wherever you want. You're gonna want to quantize all these little pieces to the grid, so when you change the BPM, they just stay like that. I have mine on 170 right now. I mean, it says 168 because I'm afraid of things going too fast, but just keep yours around 170. So I have my snare, I have some kicks, and I have some drum fills. Now comes the hardest part, which is arranging your loop. The only thing I can tell you is start every loop with a kick, because that's how drum loops work, and alternate snares. Every drum loop starts with a kick, and it's important to alternate snares to keep the loop exciting, to keep it from being stagnant. I'll add a visualizer here, but this is my drum loop. Now, to make sure that I did this correctly and that the drum loop actually worked, I went over to Tracklib. That's right, another video where I mentioned Tracklib. I went over to Tracklib and I pulled up a loop from Fabio. Let me actually pull it up right now. I pulled up this Fabio song, really crazy synths. You might recognize the name from my second most popular video. I sampled him before. Was it this? Yep. If you're a true fan, you'll recognize it. But I don't want to be boring, so I did a quick little sample chop. And then I reversed the sample chop, so it sounds like this. This way it kind of builds tension. And here's with the drums. As for effects, on the drums I have a little bit of reverb and some EQ to boost the lows, and Maximus, which I'll explain later. And then for the sample, I have nothing. Interesting, very interesting. But that wasn't really good enough. So I took the sample, I right-click here, Quick Render's audio clip, and I reversed it. So now it sounds like this. This one has a bit more in terms of effects. Let's see, 3, little bit of EQ, bandpass, and some reverb just to make it feel even crazier. But it feels a little empty, you know. We have the drum, and we have the but I'm missing, yeah, the bass. I don't have any bass VSTs or any fancy little synths, so what I use is some boom bap drum kits come with these little stabs, bass stabs. This is in my J Dilla drum kit. So what I do is I just loop it until these, did I just ruin the whole thing? Did I actually just ruin the whole thing? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now that I actually just do that? Okay, while I'm fixing this, have you liked the video yet? Because I would do that right now if I were you. Okay, we're back. What were we talking about? Okay, yeah. There's these little bass stabs on boom bap drum kits. You just loop it until the waveforms become consistent enough, and it gets you this really wobbly bass. In terms of effects, let's see, nothing. Again, beautiful. And it sounds really good with the sample underneath. You, beautiful person that subscribed to my YouTube channel. Look at that, 64. That's an unsatisfying number. It should be 70. Thank you for subscribing, making it 70. But you don't know music theory, you beautiful person. You may be sitting there thinking, I don't know music theory. I don't know if I can do that. You don't need music theory. It's such a silly concept. You're gonna loop the section that you want to play. You're gonna mute everything else, and you're gonna just play that in the drum. and you're just gonna click on here on the piano until you find a note that sounds good with your sample. That's all you need to do. It's just that easy. We have a drum and the bass. We have the break, but not really the core, you know? So we're gonna be using automations. And some people in the comments, certain groups, will think that Aphex Twin does his drum stutters manually. In fact, he uses automations too, and I'll debate you in the comments because commenting boosts my video. We're gonna be using gross beat. What you wanna do is you wanna loop a section of the drums and just play around with presets until you find something nice. Of course, I started out with the vinyl on. We have a couple different stutters. We have this one. This is how we keep the drums exciting, even with all the changes and whatever. I alternate between the two bass sections, so we have this one. And then here we start to introduce some frequency shifting. Now, if you want to do this, you're going to right click this, you're going to go to type, low pass, you're going to drag it all the way up, and then you're going to right click this. So basically this is just like a normal EQ. You're going to right click this now, and then do create automation clip, and what you'll get is this envelope right here. And basically screwing with this is pulling the low pass down. So you can see right here, see it pulls it down. It follows this, and that creates some really cool effects. It's a big staple in like a lot of electronic music. We have a little beat switch here. Since when I heard about doing breakcore, I don't want to just do IDM music because I'm not really in that field. I did want to put my own twist on it, which is what I'm doing right here. I have like a little jazzy section. So the main thing is this little sample chop here. She is Michelle by an artist whose name I can't pronounce. Put the name on screen right now. Grammy award winning, I'm pretty sure, but I don't care that you're Grammy award winning. I'm still gonna sample you. As you can see, it's just a very nice saxophone part with a little bit of guitar. In terms of effects, let's see. It's just a little bit of EQ to take out the low end because I do have some bass coming in here, but we're gonna get a little complicated. First off, I did a drum bus. I piped this. I piped the break into a second thing, and did I? No, wait, I did the opposite. I pumped this into the first insert, and I added Fruity Limiter to it, which only activates here. And what I'm doing is actually strangely complex, but I'm using the drums to sidechain themselves. Yeah, I'm using it to sidechain itself, which makes it feel really, really washed out. As you can see without. And then with, there's some really strong ducking. And then just the reverb also adds this like really ethereal kind of sound. Later I added some bass as well. It's done the same way. But this one's like a way better loop. And lastly, I added some Maximus, which is like an effect preset thing. If you use FL, you know what it is. I just put the lo-fi preset on, which basically just is another low pass. Yeah, you can see the mixture level goes up. It's sidechaining the kicks again, and also just adding like a little bit of a low pass as it goes up. And also, speaking of low pass, we have more of the low pass filtering. But just really quick like kisses. Like that's how I see them, dips and whatever. Lastly, if you just look up breakcore, I think on Google, you go to images, you have a lot of this chaotic whatevers, and it reminds me of all those like Bart Simpson sad pictures, you know, this. And I know that's a part of like atmospheric things to have like movie quotes in the background. So I decided I would do that with my favorite scene from Full Metal Jacket, where the hooker says no to having sex with the black guy because his dick is too big. I added the classic pitch down with a little bit of effecting. It's just reverb and some delay. Again, I don't know how delay works. I just looped it and screwed with the effects till I got this.
$15. Money.
Yeah, I wanted to put my own twist on it. I wanted to kind of do like a subgenre, combining ideas of like jazz rap and sampling and putting it into breakcore, creating like a drum and sax instead of a drum and bass, which is the name of the track. You can listen to it on everywhere on streaming. But I think that's the whole thing. So I'll play the full beat now. Happy 50th birthday, hip hop.
$15 money. $5 each. Come on, still love you good. Okay, $5. You give me. Okay. Let's get mounted. ¿Se cumplió? Wow. Oye, llorar con you know. Something wrong there, Chief. She said, no boom boom with some brother. What the motherfucker?